Love for cars is like an addiction. Only a car addict can tell you how. And these cars can really turn you on if you love them. Here are 9 brutal vehicles that every man will appreciate. Number 9. 1970 Dodge Charger Evolution. The car was called Evolution because it was the most highly advanced 1970 Dodge Charger in the world and was made out of carbon fiber from top to bottom. The first request was to build on what we'd done with the Tantrum model's predecessor by making a Charger that's timeless, light, and incredibly fast, while also using some more of Speedcore's unique composite works. From the roof to the quarter panels, the doors to the fenders, and the trunk to the hood, Evolution set a new style standard for American muscle cars. The front fenders, doors, rear quarter panels, top, and other parts, as well as the front and back bumper valances, are all made of carbon fiber. The Evolution is finished with a clear coat to make it last for a long time. The rest of the exterior, which is mostly made of carbon fiber, is made of billet metal. The transmission tunnel trussing is not only pretty, but it's also useful because it supports the basis of the cast seats. Speedcore made the steering wheel, door panels, dashboard, center console, steering column, pedal assembly, and classic instruments gauges. The inside is a perfect mix of classic beauty and modern conveniences. Number 8. Can-Am Spyder F3. The Can-Am Spyder F3, which is often just called the Spyder, is a 3-wheeled motorbike that's made by Can-Am Motorcycles. The way the vehicle is put together is similar to that of a modern sled in that it has one drive wheel in the back and 2 steering wheels in the front. The Spyder's frame is a lot like that of an ATV. The company that makes it calls it a roadster, but it's more properly called a trike. The company that makes it uses the word roadster to describe it. The Spyder comes with traction and stability control as well as brakes that don't lock up. The space under the hood of a car at the front of the car is called a frunk. All versions of the Spyder have this. In addition to the other choices, the Spyder can also come with top and rear dual helmet boxes. The Spyder also comes with a reverse gear, power steering, and an optional electrical shift transmission. The same foot pedal controls both the front and back brakes on the Spyder. Number 7. Polaris Slingshot. The Slingshot doesn't lean, and you can tilt the driving wheel to make it lean. It also has bucket seats that are placed next to each other. It doesn't have a top, doors, or side windows, and the inside is waterproof, so you can wash it down with a hose and let the water drain out through the holes in the floor. It also doesn't have any windows on the sides. Every model has a double hinge and an anti-roll bar at the front of the car. When the second generation of cars hit the market in 2020, a 5-speed automatic gear was made available as an option. On the base model, you can buy an extra small window, but it comes with the SL model. Polaris also sells an extra fiberglass cover called a sling shade that protects it from wind and sun. It has plastic windows built into it, and it snaps into the Slingshot's tube frame. This makes it work like a hardtop roof. The vehicle's dashboard is set up like a normal car's with the steering wheel, gear shift, stop, clutch, and throttle pedals. Number 6. F450 Limited 12-inch Striker Lift on 42s. Striker's updated 450 drag link fixes your lifted truck steering geometry by using a one-piece design made of heavy-duty steel. This gets rid of the weakness that the original drag link had. Under stress, the original drag link's adjustment point can bend. This is especially likely if your truck's been raised and now has bigger tires. The one-piece Striker F450 drag link not only stops this from happening, but it also makes your steering system feel much more sensitive and locked in. The 6 to 9-inch versions come with an upgraded Moog tie rod end at the Pitman arm side, while the 10 to 14-inch versions come with both the Pitman arm side Moog tie rod end and a high misalignment Moog tie rod end at the knuckle side. Number 5. Mazda MX-5 Miata Wide-Body Fastback. The MX-5 was first shown at the Chicago Auto Show in 1989. It was made at Mazda's plant in Hiroshima according to a strict design philosophy called Jinba Itai, which roughly means oneness of horse and rider. People sometimes compare the Mazda MX-5 to the Italian and British roadster sports cars from the 1950s and 1960s. This is because the MX-5's design has been praised for being small, light, technologically advanced, well-balanced, and not too complicated. During the whole planning process, the Lotus Elan was used as a guide. As of the beginning of 2016, the Mazda MX-5 has sold more than 1 million units, making it the best-selling 2-seat convertible sports car in the history of cars. The name Miata comes from the word reward in Old High German. Number 4. Harley-Davidson V-Rod. With the help of a few Harley-Davidson experts, Porsche Engineering changed the VR1000 B-Twin race bike engine so that it could be used in the V-Rod's Revolution engine. This made it safe to drive on public roads. In contrast to other Harley-Davidson bikes, the VRSC's air cleaner cover is held up by both the radiator and the parts of the frame that were formed by water. The rider of the V-Rod doesn't sit in front of the bike like most people do. Instead, he or she sits on top of the gas tank, which is located under the seat. In this case, the tank is the top that goes over the airbox and the hole where the coolant goes in. It was made by Harley-Davidson to serve as a model for the company's drag racing competition bikes. It was based on the VR1000 Superbike, but not exactly. Number 3. 1929 Ford Model A. The Model A was the first Ford car to have a standard set of controls like a throttle, brake pedal, and gear shift, in addition to the usual clutch pedal. Previous types of Ford cars had controls that drivers of cars from other brands found more and more strange. The Model A's gas tank was in the hood, which was between the engine compartment's firewall and the dashboard panel. It had a fuel gauge that you could see, and gravity made sure that fuel got to the engine. You could buy a mirror that lets you see what's behind you. Vehicle owners can buy an aftermarket cast iron part that fits over the exhaust manifold and heats the cab of the vehicle in colder places. You might be able to move a tiny door to change how much hot air gets into the cab. The Model A was the first car ever made with bulletproof glass in the windshield. Number 2. Ruico. From Ruico, you can choose from a number of things. The Pure 3 Gran Turismo is the Ruico model that's gone through the most development work to make it the best bike Ruico has ever made. This is possible because we've been in the business for 30 years. The Sports Tourer has a sporty look and a lot of space for storing things. It has the biggest trunk of any RF1 model and can be equipped with optional side panniers, which are only available on the ST2. This means it can carry everything a single user, a couple, or a small group could need on a long trip. Number 1. Ford 1932. When you say Ford, you might be talking about the Model B, the Model 18, or the Model 40. All three of these cars were made by Ford Motors between 1932 and 1934. The Model A was replaced by these. The Model B was made from 1932 to 1934. It had a better engine with 4 cylinders. In 1932, the Model 18 could be bought with a V8 engine, and in 1933 and 1934, the Model 40 could be bought with a V8 engine. The first Ford cars with a flathead V8 engine were made for the 18 model year. Also, the company stopped making the Model AA truck and replaced it with the Model BB, which came with either a 4-cylinder or an 8-cylinder engine based on what the buyer wanted. People are ready to pay thousands of dollars to get a 1932 Model B back to how it looked when it was first made because it's now seen as a very desirable car. All Ford cars from 1932, including the V8-8 and the Model B, came with black fenders, wire wheels, and a spare wheel in the back. The inside could be covered in leather or broadcloth, and there were options for single or double side mounts, a luggage rack, a clock, interior and outdoor mirrors, and more. And that's all, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.